Turkey burger.
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
He was a giant, and he was a cowboy. Now these two former rivals have joined forces to bring you the most insightful, perceptive, and controversial sports talk podcast in America. Former Dallas Cowboys defensive end Jim Jeffcoat locks horns with former New York Giants wide receiver Byron Williams. And now, here's Byron Williams and Jim Jeffcoat.
Good evening, Byron.
How you doing today, Jim?
Good. How was your day?
Good day today.
Good.
We had a good day today. Hump day as usual. Wednesday, middle of the week.
I'm dead.
And then I got a chance to meet one of my favorite people today at lunch.
I know. Me.
Jim Jeffcoat.
Yeah, one of my favorite people. Byron.
Yeah, it was a good week. Started off a good week, so excited about what's going on.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, there's a lot of things going on, but there's a lot of things in the sports world going on. I don't know if we'll get it all in an hour, but we'll try. First thing is Jack Hurts has been saying it wasn't going to happen, but now it's happening.
Two of my favorite boxers.
And Crawford are going to have their fight. They are going to fight. And it's going to be July 29th in Vegas. And it's going to be at the T-Mobile Arena.
T-Mobile Arena. Is it going to be they're going to be middleweight?
Yes, they're going to be middleweights, both of them. And that is to the advantage of Crawford because he is the bigger fighter.
Yeah.
Spence is going to have to, he won't have to lose weight. But I think it's to the advantage of Crawford. And I would take the money's going to go on Crawford.
No doubt. I just think Crawford gonna be the favorite, and but it should be a great fight.
Yeah, it should be, but I think Crawford is a little bit more physical than Spence, and Spence did have the car accident, and I was at the fight here in Dallas at AT&T Stadium, and he technical knockout of his opponent. Spence had the technical knockout, but Crawford.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. So if the fight were to be here in Dallas, you think Spence would have a better chance of winning?
No. I think Crawford's a different animal.
And also, I remember when Crawford came and fought at UTA, the school that I went to, the college I went to. He exactly fighting on that campus. Yeah.
So you're right, Rick. How are you this evening? He is wrong. Jack is wrong, and I'm going to let him know it's Sunday, Rick.
What's up, Rick? How you doing, buddy?
Yeah. So, Rick, you are exactly right. But it's going to be an interesting fight because you got two different styles. And I think, like I said, I think Crawford's a little bit more aggressive, and you said, than Spence.
Yeah.
And Spence, he's going to have to really, and it's a short time to prepare for this fight.
Hey, it's right around the corner. So July 29th, be here for you.
That's what I'm thinking, because what's today, the 25th?
Today's the 20-something in May. 24th.
24th of May.
Yeah.
So you got about 2 months, right?
8 weeks and a half to be exact.
Yeah.
8.5 weeks.
So think about this. When you saw Creed, the last Creed film, you see how long they had to train to fight each other. Most boxers got to train extended period of time.
Yeah, exactly. And
thank you, Rick. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you have to put that time in for a fight like this too. I'm thinking 3 months would be good.
Yeah, that's what I would have did, 3 months. But
yeah,
and then if you get an injury in while you're training, the Garcia Davis fight, they said Garcia got an injury during training. Then you don't have that much time to recover. So
I think they wanted to probably get that fight in before the NFL season started.
That is true.
That was a little bit reporting time for training camp. So NFL will be on kicked off training camp, but yet we still gonna need some excitement. So now we got this boxing showdown.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get my place down there and probably stay at my favorite hotel, the Bellagio, and just get tickets to the fight and go watch the fight.
Yeah, I might try to go out there myself.
It's gonna be hard to get down close to the fight because obviously the tickets are gonna be
sky high. So what I might do is go out to Vegas and then start doing my little networking for the Super Bowl too. So might be good to just go out there.
But you don't have to worry about a place to stay. Your daughter lives in Vegas.
Yeah, she lives in Vegas, so
you don't have to worry about that. That's one less headache you have.
Absolutely. I put turf in her backyard last year, so she's good to go.
Oh man, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a good fight. It is going to be exciting, and the build-up's going to be good. I don't think we'll see some of the things that have happened in the last couple of fights where they're pushing each other, and I think the two names were promoted themselves.
Absolutely, long awaited. Something that it's gonna be the showdown of the century, probably if they go in there and just continue to beat each other up.
Exactly.
That's what I want to see. I want to see them knock each other out.
Old school fight.
Old school.
Yeah.
Good evening, David.
Hey, David, how are you doing? Everything going well, David?
I think we're being watched around the world now, Jim.
I know.
We getting famous, Jim.
Everything, shoot. They seeing some real football. Well, Cowboys, the Giants, but that other team, but Cowboys.
G-Man. Don't say G-Man. G-Man. That means we gangsters.
Oh, the little Giants.
Hey, man, Jim and I we had lunch today, and I told him that blue and gray was blowing me up. I can't see that much. I'm tired of that blue and gray.
There's only one blue, and that's that silver and blue.
So you say.
Oh, yeah, we had a good lunch today. We did have a good lunch and got some business taken care of.
And the good thing about being a former NFL player that we could talk business and still have fun and still mix it up, Exactly. Just making that your favorite salad, you can mix it in, stir it up, and still have a good meal.
You make a great point.
And that's what happened today. We had a great meal.
Yeah, we did, and had good conversation about the way J&B Talking Shop is going to go to another level. You're going to get little commercials in there and everything. Oh, there it is, Johnstown, New York.
Oh, Johnstown, New York. Hey, I know he loves the Giants. I ain't got to ask who his favorite team is.
Buffalo Bills. Now, right?
But actually today, though, Jim, on the real side, we were talking about business. We talking about trying to find us a sponsor for our show.
That's right. Yeah, this could be the sponsor right here.
Yeah.
But talking about the NFL, there were a couple of rule changes in the NFL in the last week with the punt and the kickoff. If you don't return it, it goes out to the 25-yard line.
Right.
So which is going to be interesting. And that's one of the rules. And now
they only passed the rule to place the ball on the 25-yard line following the fair catches on the kickoff.
Yeah. And
on the kickoff as well.
Yeah, so you score, but that's going to be interesting to see how that works.
Well, I think too you give your offense a better chance of field position.
That's what I think.
And things like that, and make the game more exciting because sometimes when you're inside the 10-yard line and you have to boil down that football field.
Let me ask you this question: what if you have a dynamic kickoff returner?
He won't fair catch.
A punt return.
You let him go ahead and do his thing.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I would think that in ways that all the special teams coaches didn't want it to pass. Yeah. They argued over it. But the NFL argued that it was a safety issue.
Yeah, and you actually putting your return guys in a position where you don't get the shots sometimes, the big shots, big hits. So it can go either way. But if you got a real dynamic return kicker back there, hey, you want him to go ahead and make things happen.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's what we're going to have to follow. But there's other things going on. Aaron Rodgers is finally in OTAs with the Jets. He had some issues with, I think it was his calf. He tweaked his calf. But here's the thing. I'm reading this article right now that Dan Orlovsky, who was just a guy in the NFL, says that the Jets are equipped to beat the Chiefs. Are you kidding me? Are you seriously kidding me?
Yeah, they say one player can make the difference the way it looks, the way it sounds.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Now they're going to beat the Chiefs.
Hey, all I know is Aaron Rodgers can make things happen.
He can make things happen, but this is Aaron Rodgers. This is like LeBron James. He's a year older than LeBron James.
Yeah.
LeBron James scored 40 points, had 10 rebounds, and I think he had like 8 assists, and he had 2 steals.
Right.
And they still couldn't win. Don't tell me.
They ain't have a big man. They just couldn't. They can't mess with the Joker. That's all I know.
The Joker's the truth. The Joker's the truth.
Yeah,
I
but
would never imagine them sweeping LA.
I thought sure they'll win 1 or 2 games.
That's what I did too. I thought that LA would show up. The last game, Anthony Davis disappeared.
But I was looking. I just knew that this is Denver time. I mean, sometimes it's just your time.
I would agree. And I was really concerned about this series for the Lakers is because of the length of Denver. And this is the first time Murray has played in the playoffs. He's been injured the last couple of years. And they went out there, and you're right, and they had length at almost every position. And
it's the timing of when you can start playing great basketball as team basketball, and I think that's one of the things that have happened for Denver. I mean, they were ranked number 1, and they positioned themselves to make things happen. So I just think this is their season. They never won a final, never won a championship. And I think they're destined to win this championship.
That's true. And Rick asked that we played special teams. I'll let you go first.
I was a kick returner sometime, and every now and then I go down as a gunner on the punt team because I can knock you out. I was an all-state safety in high school. And then every now and then I can go and catch a punt. But every time I catch a punt, for a catch.
You're serious? My first play ever in football was a punt returner.
Okay.
That's the story. And I did play I played punt and I ran it back for a touchdown. I was in high school as a freshman. It wasn't obviously as big as I am now, but I ran it back for a touchdown. Then But then when I got to the NFL, I didn't play the rest of my high school. Well, I did on punt block. I blocked punts, but
have you ever blocked the punt and ran it in for a touchdown?
I blocked the punt and ran it.
When did you do that?
When I was in high school.
Oh, okay.
I never played in college. I never played special teams, but because my rookie year I wasn't playing, I went to Coach Landry and asked him could I play special teams. So they let me play on the punt coverage team, the punt block team, the kickoff return, and the kickoff coverage. And I thought it was the greatest thing in the world because I just wanted to play. And I had Harvey Martin and Ed Too Tall Jones in front of me. So I wasn't going to play that much. I just wanted to get on the field.
And plus, you could run. You probably was the fastest defensive lineman on the team at the time.
Harvey Martin was pretty fast. I don't know. He probably was the fastest.
Y'all didn't know who was the fastest?
Yeah, Harvey. But
being a receiver, I always knew who was the fastest.
Yeah.
And it was me. Was me. Don't get that wrong. It was me.
But no, I did get the Rick, to answer your question, I did play my rookie year. That was the only year in the NFL. And then later in my career, I played on field goal protection, which everybody does. Put your hands out and make sure nobody gets by you. That's all.
Yeah, so, you got that good wingspan, too. You real wide out, way wide. You about 10 feet wide, Jim. You about 10 feet wide.
But yeah.
For real though, hey Jim, don't nobody know this, but in high school, I never did come off the football field.
Same with me. I played both ways.
I played every position. I played safety, wide receiver. I was even the holder on the field goals. I was the holder.
Wow. I was the kicker.
You was the kicker? Wow.
Yeah, I was the kicker.
It was the funniest thing ever happened to me in high school. So I was holding the ball for the kicker, and back then they had that square shoe.
That's what I used to wear.
And a guy named Frank was the kicker. Frank Roberts. He was an all-state football player with the Tulane. Well, first couple of times, when I was holding the ball, he kicked my hand.
Whoa! I never kicked anybody's hand.
Hey, from that point on, I had it down to a science, Jim. When he kicked my hand, I said, "Man, never again," because that square kicking boot. Because sometimes you put a string on it and you can hold it back.
Yeah, you turn it back. Yeah, that is true. And there wasn't any soccer style kicks. You were straight ahead. Straight line kicker. So I remember all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did have that opportunity.
Well,
What
was your longest field goal?
My longest field goal was about 20, 23, 24 yards.
Yeah, I think Frank hit
we didn't
about
have
30.
to kick that much.
Yeah,
we won all the time.
Yeah, we had one for 30. I think he had one for about 35, 38 yards.
Yeah, I never had the opportunity. I wish I would have, because I think I could have kicked it, because I kicked it out of the end zone for kickoffs.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So I figured that I could kick it farther, but they never let me.
Yeah.
So,
Rick, I hope we answered your special team question. So we did play some special team, and I think it's good to play special team because it'll keep you hungry of not wanting to play special team.
Exactly. Well, it's not that as much, but anytime, if you're not a starter, then you're still contributing to the team.
Well, one thing I do want to say, Rick, in practice, we had to participate in special team just to make sure that we're giving the other guys a true look of what they were facing in the game. So if you didn't play that much special team, you did play special team in practice.
Yeah, in the pros, they didn't let me do any. One time, me and Tony Tolbert were out there, and we had the suicide drill. And basically, everybody had to run down like they were on punt protection.
Yeah.
And break down on the punt returner. And we did 2 of them. And Coach Johnson came and said, "You're done." And we looked at him like, "Coach, we've only done 2." He said, "I don't pay you to run down on punt protection." He said, "That's not your job. Your job is to rush quarterbacks." And he said, "If you had to rush a quarterback that far, then
we're in trouble."
we're in trouble. Far for 25 yards one time or something in that. So, but he said, "Nah, we ain't doing that."
Yeah, and that's the truth. I mean, why do something that you're not going to do?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But back to basketball, the Joker is a special player.
No doubt.
And their whole team is playing well. You got to, whether you like the Nuggets or dislike them, you got to respect what they're doing. I mean,
the last couple of years, they done put a lot of time in. I think they're healthy. They playing good team basketball, and they're gonna be hard to beat.
And they were the number 1 seed. They were the number 1 seed in the.
And just think, right now they're getting some rest.
Yeah.
And that when you play as many games as they play in basketball, I think that's gonna be an extra addition of how hard it's gonna be hard to beat them.
Yeah, and then also you got to think about speaking of other things is you got the 8th ranked team in Miami Heat against the number 2 ranked Celtics, because the Bucks were number 1, I think.
Yeah,
I could be wrong on that.
With the NFC East, let me say with the East, yeah, NBA East, right?
Yeah. So, the Celtics is an interesting case because they do have talent and they have depth. They finally played a game up to their capabilities, but now they're in a deep hole.
They're in a deep hole.
I mean, regardless if they win on Friday back in Boston, they still got to go back to the Heat, and that's going to be tough to steal one from the Heat there.
Oh, yeah.
Butler did have 29 points.
They're going to bring out the white shirts and the white towels when they go back to Miami. They might win in Boston. Make it interesting.
Yeah.
But
hey, we got a blast from the past.
What's up, Jason?
Jason been hiding from us, ever since he's getting married in September.
Well, congratulations, Jason. We still
he doesn't have, sometimes you got to get rid of your old friends.
Yeah. He ain't been around. He hadn't contacted you, Jim?
No. Oh, I talked to him today.
Yeah, the Stars do need to get back on track. Yeah. You're absolutely right. They 3-0.
And then they lost their captain for 2 games.
Yeah, that's true.
For, that cross check.
One of the things about the playoffs, you can't lose at home. You need to win home games.
Yes, you do. I would agree.
To get some momentum going.
To the Celtics.
Yeah.
They lost home games, but you're exactly right. The Stars do need to get back on there. And they played Minnesota, didn't they, Jason? 2 series ago.
Yeah, I think they did.
Yeah, so they do need to get back. It's going to be difficult. They're down 3-0, and Las Vegas is playing really well.
Las Vegas.
There's something interesting about that. Every team that's in the Final Four are
3-0
teams. Think about it. Carolina, the Panthers, Dallas, and Las Vegas. There's no Canadian teams, which is kind of unusual because everybody thinks that hockey is a Canadian sport.
Yep.
And the Canadian teams are there. So.
Yeah. And majority of the players are Canadian players.
Yes.
So those guys grew up playing hockey like we grew up playing football and basketball.
Yeah. But Jason, we're going to stick there. We're going to talk about your Minnesota Vikings, but we got other things. We got to talk about
Minnesota Vikings. They had every sign Cooks. What they gonna do with Cooks?
They gonna get rid of Cooks. And Jason told me today. He said that'll be all right because he said that you can get running backs. Dalvin Cook will haunt them.
You cannot get another Dalvin Cooks. I don't care what nobody says.
Jason, they keep Kirk Cousins around. I hope they don't have a lot of night games this year. We know that
one player has to leave. Jim, I want to say, if one player has to leave in the backfield, it should be Kirk Cousins.
Yes. Kirk Cousins stealing. He's stealing.
No, he done stolen.
Yeah, he has stolen.
He done stolen some money.
Look at Jason. Cook is Cook. He was talking about Super Bowl for the Vikings last year. Now he done turned off with Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is going to go to the Buffalo Bills.
He kind of like you, Jim. He like you said about Zeke Elliott. The running backs ain't
I told the truth.
The running
younger than Elliott.
The running backs are just like losing out.
David, we're going to talk about predictions, but it's a little bit too early to have predictions for the Super Bowl. Closer to the season, we'll talk a little bit more about them.
Go put your money on the Giants, David. Go put your money on the Giants.
Yeah, David, don't lose your money. Don't listen to him. I got to see how they come out of training.
He tried to go make a bet in Vegas. That's what he tried to do.
That's what it is. David trying to make a... Jason, we know who Jason's going to pick.
Minnesota Vikings?
No, Dallas Cowboys, but I like Jason.
He better go ahead and sign up with them Detroit.
That's going to be good, Jason. Detroit and Minnesota are going to be fighting for that division.
Absolutely.
And they say that Jordan Love hasn't looked good in practice.
Man, Green Bay ain't going to do nothing. They win. Green Bay going to win 8 games. They'll win 8 games.
Did you see what Rick just said? Rick's my buddy, but Kurt has courage. He takes a beating and keeps getting back up. Come on, man. Kurt, hey, Rick.
I agree with you, Jason. The Lions will be the team.
Was at the Washington football team. And how many times did he get up? He didn't do anything. He gets a huge contract to go to Minnesota. Once it gets to 5 o'clock, Kurt turns into a pumpkin. He doesn't win at night. He gets afraid when the lights go dim. He has no courage.
So he should play all 12 o'clock games?
Yep. Yes.
That ain't gonna work because you call 8 o'clock games. You have the Eastern Monday night football, Sunday night football. They better have no primetime game then.
Yeah. Dalvin Cook had the shoulder injury. So, but he's healthy this year. But they did get rid of Thielen. They got the tight end from Detroit, Hoskinson, I think his name is.
Yeah, they got him. Yeah, they got him.
But they got to find another receiver, which everybody says is going to be Addison.
Yeah, the guy from USC. Yeah, the number one pick.
Yeah, but the thing is he's a little skinny. I don't know how he.
You don't know how the receivers coming out of college gonna be.
You see what Rick said? The Lions will.
Rick, Dan Cameron got something to say about that.
Big Dan is hey Rick, don't say that around Dan. Dan's bigger than I am.
Yeah, Dan don't play.
6'7", he's
a huge man.
I know Dan. When I coached at the Cowboys, Dan was a tight end under Bill Parcells when we were there.
Yeah.
So he's from Glenrose.
Glenrose, Texas.
He's from Glenrose, Texas. Played at Texas A&M.
Yep.
He's a big man. So be careful what you say about him, Rick. I don't want you, I like you and stuff. I don't want you to get in trouble or anything.
Hey, Rick, but I appreciate your comment because the Lions might not do nothing. They might not even do nothing.
You know what? I like the quarterback. I like him probably better than people do. I think their running game's going to be better. I think they're going to be competitive. It wouldn't be surprise me if they're a wild card team. They could win the division, but I still think Minnesota overall is a better team.
I'm going to tell you what really helped Detroit. They play all three versions. They play good special team. They score some points, and their defense never give up.
Rick said, well, he bite his kneecaps. You must be about 7'2", Rick, because he's about 6'7".
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah.
He's a huge man.
Yeah.
But
it is going to be between Detroit and Minnesota. So Jason will have a lot to be excited about with Minnesota.
Yeah, he's going to be excited. He's going to be wearing his purple and yellow. Is it purple and yellow or purple and gold?
Purple and gold, I think. Right, Jason?
Well, yellow mean they got a yellow streak on around their back, so I don't know.
I hope what's that Viking that goes, he doesn't go,
getting choked up.
Getting all choked up.
Yeah,
you saw what happened to him. Who beat him in the playoffs?
The Giants. The G-Man.
Oh, man.
I sure didn't want to bring that up, but since you brought it up.
Jason,
I think I won my bet.
You did win your bet.
Mm-hmm.
You did win your bet.
It was a golf bet.
He still hasn't taken care of that.
And he still didn't show up at the golf course.
No, he didn't show up. What's going on with that, Jason?
I knew something I missed that day. My team finished third in that tournament.
Yeah, you did. I was there. I have verification of it.
I'll tell you what, Jason. Go on here and get married so you can get whooped into showing up when you're supposed to show up.
I just have to call Lindsay and get him to show up.
Yeah, call her, man.
I call his future wife, and
we got to report Jason, because Jason was mad because the Vikings slipped up, and don't take it out on me.
Oh my goodness! Hey, this is interesting. Is that Lamar Jackson? He's there now, I think, but he didn't show up for the beginning of OTAs. You just gave this guy. Everybody was saying these things about him, but now he doesn't show up again. He's there now in OTAs.
Well, you know what happened?
What?
His pants was sagging from leaving the bank. He got his money.
Look at Jason. He ready now. We done got him mad.
What Jason said?
Looking for a date to golf, guys. Let's go.
Set it up.
Set it up and we'll be there. He did. Honestly, to Jason's defense, he did want me to go play golf with him, and I couldn't.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah, he can play out in Granbury.
Oh, Granbury. Why you out there?
Yeah. It's a nice course, though.
Oh yeah, the pecan, is it the pecan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played out there 2 or 3 times. I've been out there.
It's very nice.
I don't know if you want me to come out there, Jason. I played pretty well out there.
Oh, Jason, you heard him.
Yeah. You don't want me to dust off them clubs.
Oh, Jason. Oh man.
Well, it's good to see you, Jason.
He can play, Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah, shoot. I'll be bringing up the rear, but he can play. But actually, I've been practicing. I'm getting better.
Yeah, we learning a little bit. We learn a little bit, and you know, Jim is having all these golf tournaments, so you got to get better. You got to sharpen your skills. That means you got to practice.
Yeah. Yes, you got to always shoot. I got this. I know we're a little bit off, but I got this thing that I practice on every day. I come home and hit my drivers, and then take every one of my clubs and just hit them before I go to work, and when I come home, and just change up clubs. But back to the Heat and the Celtics. Who do you think is going to win that series?
The Heat. You know, it's hard to come back. No team had ever came back from 3-0. So you have to, you know, you just have to give it to Miami. They did what they had to do. They got to, you know, the first 3 games, they actually whooped their butt.
Yeah, they got after them. And the funny thing about Miami is, what did they have, like 5 undrafted free agents?
Yeah, exactly.
Or undrafted players.
Yeah.
And they still have been successful. They play hard, though. And their stars, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, have been playing. Now, they lost Kevin Love to a back injury.
Yeah, Kevin Love, yeah.
And
then Kevin Love, he getting up in age, too, so.
Yeah, and they lost Tyler Hero to a broken wrist, but they said he'll be back by the
finals.
Finals, yeah. They said he could be back. So,
but you know what? The Miami got the coaching edge. They got a great coaching staff, and they play. You know, Jimmy Butler is the heartbeat. So if he's on, it's gonna be hard to beat him. Yeah,
it was an interesting story in there that supposedly when LeBron was there with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, he walked into Pat Riley's office and wanted Spoelstra fired.
Right.
And Pat Riley told him, "Don't ever come to my office tell me that about having a coach fired." And that was the end of that.
Well, you know, it's some guys you just can't go and demand certain things for. I mean, I can see Pat Riley. You know, he's been around basketball his life, and what he believe in and what he know about the game is, you know, is unprecedented. So it's important that, you know, you be consistent in what you believe in.
Yeah. So, but that was good on Pat Riley.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when they said that James Harden had asked for Doc Rivers to be fired, when you have players starting to do that, then you lose control. To me,
well, it's a hierarchy, and it's a game of intellectual where you have to make sure that, you know, players still players at the end of the day. That's why you have to pay coaches, and so, you know,
but in certain cases, just what happened with the Denver Broncos, which was interesting. The offensive line despised that offensive line coach that was there. And they want him. I think when they fired Hackett, they fired him too.
Yeah.
Line coach. And sometimes it's justified if the team's success, but if you're a successful team, you can't do that.
Well, you know what's really going out the window now is on all levels is coaches in and out of the situation, in and out of his job. So whenever you have that, then you ain't gonna have no consistency.
Exactly.
And informing your team or shaping your team the way it should be.
Exactly. And the majority of teams that you're seeing successful, not all of them, but a lot of them had coaches that have been in that position for a while. You can say Philadelphia, you could use Philadelphia, have a coach who hadn't in various teams. Miami had success.
Right.
With a coach. Minnesota is another one. But it's real difficult. And obviously the Giants with Dayball.
Yeah.
But it's and install a culture.
You know, when you look at a coach like Pete Carroll and coach that been around like Tomlinson and those guys and Bill Belichick, and they've been consistent. Even the Buffalo Bills, they've been consistent in what they believe in.
Yeah, and they sustain success over a period of time.
Yeah,
It's just not instant gratification. A lot of coaches are, yes, they're turning the programs around, but how long can they sustain that success?
Exactly. And but this day and time, you see a huge turnover, and I just think now you really ain't got no consistency, and you just kind of like the Rams. You win the Super Bowl, then next year you lose 15 games or 14 games.
Exactly.
That's what you're gonna get.
You is, do you think this is the new norm? And why I say this is you see college football teams struggling because of parents that it happened with the Miami Hurricanes. And we know in the 90s and the 80s how much success they had.
Yeah.
They went to the head coach's name is Mario Cristobal, and the parents were complaining about their kids not playing.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be if you're not playing hard or not doing the right things, then nobody had a complaint. But now parents are taking more, and that bothers me.
And you see it from little league all the way up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I can't imagine I'm sitting out there and complaining to a coach because my child is not playing.
Yeah.
He has to earn the right to play. And maybe that's old school. Maybe it's a different time and day, but that's how I look at it. And
when I got through playing football, I started getting into the track and turf business. And throughout the state of Texas, I went to almost every school. And when these coaches in the state of Texas started making over $100,000, I was saying, man, this gonna be this gonna be where you see a coaches move from this school to that school, or even when a coach win a state championship, immediately they make over $125,000 in this state.
Yeah, you're right.
So the goal is if you win state, you can go to a job that you want and you can make over $125,000 a year as a coach in the state of Texas.
You become like the king of the city.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. Texas is an unusual state with some of the stuff that goes on. Because like you were saying, you become the main point in that cities, wherever, East Texas, but even in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I mean, some of these guys are like kings. You have to make appointments to see some of these head coaches.
You have to make an appointment. And then I'll tell you another thing that's going on, this NIL stuff. Ooh. And these coaches now, they getting deals on the side as well.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I see that. I mean, I was just watching. There was a player who played at Denton Ryan, and he played at Alabama. Well, he transferred. He played at Georgia, and he transferred to USC. And they showed on Twitter today where he's the apartment he's living in. I mean, you should have seen this place.
One of the kids that I know real well, he went to Alabama. He was down there, and he graduated from Alabama. Then he went to UNLV. Not UNLV. He went to Fresno College. Then he just signed with the Buffalo Bills. His last name is Shavers, Tyrell Shavers. But my point is, he's 24 going into the league, but he got his master's. But my point is, these guys now can be 23 and 24 going into the NFL, but with this new NIL stuff, they getting paid now to stay in school next year.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Another thing that done happened too that's really sad for a lot of these seniors coming out of high school, guys are 23, 24, and 25 but still eligible to stay at the universities. Yeah, so they don't hardly give them no more room to get a high school scholarship, a college scholarship.
And with the transfers and everything.
Exactly, with the transfer portal.
Unless you're a whole different player, it's hurting some of D1 schools, but it's helping the D1 AAs and the D2 schools because now these guys have to go after those high school players.
Yeah,
they have the NIL money.
Yeah,
that some of these big schools, and when you talk about that, they said that the University of Texas had made the most in revenue last year. They made $161.5 million. The next closest to them was the University of Georgia, it was 157 million, and then it was Notre Dame, obviously the usual suspects. Alabama was a little bit down; they were like 6 or 7.
Okay.
And Texas over the last couple of years had a lot of success. So you got to realize the head coach is Sarkisian is under a lot of pressure to turn that around.
Yeah. It's all about winning. At the end of the day, it's all about winning.
Yeah, and Texas A&M wasn't even in the top 10, which I thought was shocking.
Yeah, I thought Texas A&M would be up in the top 10.
Yeah, they were in the top 10. It was like I said, Notre Dame was up there.
Jimbo Fisher, he makes
Auburn was up there. Yeah, he better win. Auburn was up there. It was Alabama was up there, in which Auburn shocked me. Was up there. Tennessee was high.
Tennessee was high?
Yeah, Tennessee was high, which I thought was kind of shocking. But they did it, and then they were Oklahoma was in the top 10 in revenue. And I'll
tell you a school that's probably going to make some turnaround is going to be Nebraska.
You think so?
I think so.
Here's the thing, and it's not that I'm not saying anything of Colorado, Nebraska, and schools like that. But the problem they have is now that we're in the internet age, you get attacked. If you go to Nebraska, like you said, and they have Matt Rule is a heck of a coach. And Dion is going to do a good job. But those schools you can't drive into.
Right.
You have to always fly into those schools.
Right.
It's a bit more difficult. For example, people talk about Iowa's good. Well, you can drive from Chicago and Iowa in under 4 hours, I think it is.
Yes, absolutely. It's not that far.
You got to have a major
city
next to you. Colorado doesn't have that. Obviously, Nebraska doesn't have that. And that's the problem you run into some of these cities. Oklahoma's close to Dallas, Texas, obviously.
Yeah.
In a good position.
A lot of players from Texas go to Oklahoma.
Yeah. And especially from East Texas.
Yeah.
Especially from East Texas. But you can get there within a reasonable time. Well, to get to Colorado, you're going to have to take a plane or you're going to be 12, 14 hours to drive there.
You're going to have jet lag.
And think about it if you're in California.
Oh. You can have mobile jet. You can have mobile jet. You have mobile jet leg.
And you got to pay for it now. What they can do because of NIL rules, they can fly parents in, and the players can fly their parents in, and they can bring them to the game. So that's an advantage. But
and the players making some nice little checks now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you can do that.
Yeah.
But they also got to remember that there's other things that are going on when you get this money. The United States government gonna want their part too, the taxes and everything. So.
My nephew at Tech.
Yep.
He learned firsthand. 1099.
That's right. Yeah. What's this? Wait a minute.
You got to take tax.
So
yeah, you get ain't no such thing as free money.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
But I'm happy for these people, young men, and it's 20 universities. A lot of people don't know this. I saw this. It's 20 universities that pay student athletes for making a 3.5 or better. So you get $3,500 a semester. I don't know if it's 35 or whatever, but they can pay you for making a 3.5 or better.
Yes. There are schools that are doing that, which I think is positive. See, you still run it, even with NIL money, and the cream of the crop is going to get the big money. Some guys might get, 50,000. Some guys, everybody. It's just kind of like the NFL. Every person who has never been involved in the NFL think everybody makes the money that Lamar Jackson, Mahomes does, or the players of that status, and even at every position. But only a certain few make that kind of money.
Only a handful.
And you got to think about that. It's the same thing in college. There are going to be certain players that are going to make the big money.
Yeah.
Everybody will go wild. But it's going to be most of the majority of players are not to make that. So they're going to need those degrees. They're going to need that education.
Yep. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And that's the beauty of it. These players got to understand 4 years of college go by so fast.
It really does. And even 4 or 5, it really does.
Yeah.
Now, and the problem you run into is it's harder to redshirt players.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're going to do that with Arch Manning, but Arch Manning already has his deals on the
Oh, he got a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he got what, $3 million deal?
Until he starts.
Yeah, he got a big deal.
Yeah, so those things happen, and you have to realize that.
And whatever name, Robinson, he had a Lamborghini down at University.
Yeah, everybody should. They ride Testarossas, landed Ferraris. Shoot, I would have had me one of them Raptors, Ford Raptors, if I was still in college, driving it around.
Just give me a Tahoe. That's why they stole my Tahoe at the golf course, man. I was like, man, they stole my Tahoe.
What golf course?
Oh, in Arlington, man. And 2021, I was out there playing golf. Next thing I know, I come back in, finna put my clubs up. But something told me today, said, take your wallet. I took my wallet. I had autographed balls and everything in my Tahoe. Yeah. And the camera showed the guy rolling out of my car. I had the automatic starter. So they got behind my Tahoe, started my truck, waited 5 minutes, and jumped in it and drove out of the parking lot.
Oh, man. Wow.
I was so hurt.
Carlos makes a good point that there are some that can't get their money till after graduation. But if you're an elite player, think about this, Carlos, is that there's probably the possibility that you won't be there for 4 years. You will get your degree at some point, but what if you're going to the NFL?
Yeah.
Then you're going to want your money now.
There's always ways that you can get your money. You can they can give it to your parents, you give it to, and they can give it, and you can go to the bank and get a loan. There's ways you can get some money.
Yeah, there's no question about it. But the schools that have advantage are the schools that obviously like the USCs and Texas and Georgia and places like that, because they can afford to do those things. What it hurts is schools that don't have those donors or boosters.
Right.
That can give them, and it hurts. I think it overall hurts the other programs. I mean, other than LSU, with the women's basketball team, obviously they won the national championship, so they took advantage of that. But there are other teams that can't take advantage of that.
Yep. And there's always an exception to the rules. And you're always going to have a limited number that can get the NIL deals. Not everybody going to be able to get them.
Yeah, but it is. But NILs are through a lot of times are worked through boosters.
Yeah,
Somebody helps them with there because that's donating money.
Because I know one of the universities pay all the linemen. There's a booster that give all the linemen 20 guys, and they give all the linemen $3,500 checks.
Yeah, Texas. Yeah, they have that.
Yeah,
and they automatically, if they're offensive linemen, BYU pays all their walk-ons enough to have a scholarship to BYU. So if you walk to BYU, your scholarship is automatically paid. The new game out, that is a good question. Nobody knows yet how they're going to deal with that, but they're going to have names on it, and I can't wait. I don't think it's It's NCAA. Yeah, it is going to be NCAA 23, but that is an excellent question.
Yeah.
You're going to have to figure that out because that's going to be big. Now that you can put names on there, shoot. I hope they have.
It's going to be a game.
They have the Legends players there because I'm going to be on there playing myself.
I always say that's going to be the game changer right there. Going to be the game changer.
Yeah, and Carlos, you are right. There are cases where if you don't play or you get hurt, then you got to give your money back at a certain percentage of it. So you are right on that.
Yeah.
So, but that is something that does happen. It is not all that you think it is because there's only a certain amount of players that are getting it.
Yeah.
At a high rate. I mean, not everybody's making what they said Arch Manning is making what 3.5 a year.
It's 3 something. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have the quarterback at USC who's making a lot of money. And then you have Angel Reese who makes LSU. But there's not everybody's getting that type of money.
Yeah.
We only hear about it, but we don't hear about the gem. Just like you said, there's a lot of things put in it. If you get a 3.5, you make a certain amount of money.
Right.
If you're at a certain position, they might fund the whole position.
But you got some booster club. You got some booster members that own companies, and they come in and they work certain deals with some of the skill set players and things like that as well.
I think that happened at the University of Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I think that's what happened. So that's definitely true. That's true. You talked about the Detroit Lions, but who do you think is going to be the biggest surprise this year of teams?
I think the team that I'm always a year ahead of myself. The team that I picked last year was the LA Chargers.
Yes, you did.
I think the LA Chargers gonna probably step it up this year because I was off a little bit last year. If these guys can stay healthy, I always look at the quarterback. And I think the timing of Burris and so Cincinnati and the Chargers, I just think that those teams going to be
interesting,
really hard to beat on the AFC side. On the NFC side, of course, you still going to have that NFC East going to be whoever come out of the NFC East healthy. It's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah.
NFC East.
And that's going to be the health. My surprise team is going to probably shock you is the Atlanta Falcons.
I don't like them.
I like what they're doing. And they have a running game with B. John Robinson. They have a young quarterback with Desmond Ridder. They have receivers, Cordell Patterson, who can play multiple positions. They have a very good defense, and they're in a weak conference because you're not afraid of Tampa Bay. You're not afraid of New Orleans, and you're not afraid of Carolina.
What do you think about the Seattle Seahawks?
I like what they did, but I think San Francisco is still the best team in that division.
No doubt. San Francisco will be
but I think
San Francisco won't be no surprise because everybody knows.
That's why I said
I
don't think the Seahawks will beat San Francisco. So I think the Cardinals are going to struggle. The Arizona
the Cardinals, they're going to have a hard go at it.
I think the Rams are not a Matthew Stafford guy. I would have kept Jared Goff over Stafford myself.
Yeah.
I just think Stafford's at that point in his career where he's starting to deteriorate. And you say,
do you think the NFC East gonna beat NFC East and AFC East gonna beat each other up over there because they got the belt all throughout the year?
Yeah, Max says his surprise team is Cowboys. I know, man. I know they're gonna win the division, but it's not gonna be a surprise to me. But I don't think so. I think the AFC East is not as good as the NFC East. I think the better teams are in the NFC East, and they're going to get exposed. I think the AFC East is going to get exposed.
Well, Tampa Bay I don't see Tampa Bay doing a whole lot.
I don't either because I don't know who are they going to run the ball with. They got some good receivers, and I think Baker Mayfield can do certain things, but he's not the answer.
Well, we're gonna see what he can do. That's for sure.
Yeah, he struggled he did okay with the Rams, but other than that, Cleveland he had issues, and then Carolina he had issues. So I don't know if he's the answer.
Yep, it's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah,
but the Miami Dolphins, they're gonna be tough.
Yeah, they're gonna be tough, but I think they're gonna self-explode.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think because they got to play some good teams in the NFC East.
Oh, they got to
tell you a team, and everybody thinks I'm crazy about this. The other team in the AFC that's going to be scary is the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I think Cleveland going to be tough to beat. They
defensively, and they got Deshaun Watson. They'll have a whole camp.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Seahawks. Geno, if he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
One of the things a lot of people don't understand, can the quarterback play with the injury here, the injury there? If he's healthy, he's okay. But if he got a hurt arm or sore wrist or whatever, it's gonna be hard to put the numbers up.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think Geno had a good year. He had a career year last year, and they do have things, but I think they're still lacking on defense, and I think that's what's going to get them. I think San Francisco.
And I still say this too, Jim. I say this: you got to have two good quarterbacks. I don't care what nobody says.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what set the 49ers up.
Plus, if you remember, Seattle's lost their offensive coordinator to Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
So that's going to be
interesting. And that's another thing in the mix. The coaches changes. The system coaches changes.
I think in the long run is going to get Philadelphia because they had so much transition in their quarterback. Yeah.
Well, we got a Tampa Bay fan, Carlos. So we'll see. I just don't see.
I just don't see. They don't have enough firepower.
They don't have enough depth.
Yeah, and they still got some issues on their offensive line, Carlos.
And they still got the same head coach. I don't know.
You don't like Todd Bowles?
He ain't never been one to set me up that motivated me. So I don't know.
I know what happened. You and Todd played against each other when he was at Washington, and he took a cheap shot at
you. He probably did take a cheap shot. I got my jaw broke against some Redskins. It was the Redskins back then. But
Todd Bowles who did it.
He couldn't catch me. It was Peterson and those guys. It was okay. Yeah, it was Peterson. But no, it was but Todd Bowles, man, he needs to be fired up on that sideline.
I know he is too laid back.
He's so laid back, man.
Yeah, he is too laid back.
But I could be wrong. Tampa Bay might surprise me.
I still think the class of the whole league is still Kansas City.
Well, I tell you, the Saints gonna have something to say about over there.
You think so? I don't know.
Who that might be getting ready
with Carr.
Yeah, with Carr, Derek Carr.
Offensive talent, but their defense is a little bit long in too.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I worry about them with. It's gonna be an interesting year because there's honestly about 8 teams that could be there. In Schottenheimer, and they better because McCartney's on the clock. McCartney is on the clock. If he doesn't win, he's got 1 year left on his contract, and he's out the door. So he's got to win now.
Well,
he can't make it. He couldn't make it to OTAs because he hurt his back.
He's already injured. He better do a better job than he did in Green Bay. So all I can say.
Yeah. I agree with you. He's on the clock.
Because Jerry ain't got no more patience. No more patience.
It. Right. He gave him his opportunity. He gave him everything he wanted.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm looking at the clock, and we only got about 50 seconds. 50 seconds.
You don't want me to do the waddle dance, are you?
No, you're going to waddle your behind out of here.
See, everybody, Jim can't dance. He don't know how to dance. But there's going to be some interesting football being played.
Yeah, it is.
2023.
I'm getting excited because it's not that far off. I'm getting excited about football. Basketball, the NBA is winding down. Baseball, the Rangers are winning, but I'm getting excited. We're going to have a great football season. We're going to have a lot to talk about.
G-Man is in the house.
Yeah, he is, but he still ain't that good. But, hey, it's time to go. And you have a good evening, Byron.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
All right.